What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Dynasty Trade Show. So glad you could be here. Don't forget, if you want your deals featured, patreon.com/South Harmon. Not only that, a dope-ass community. Adam's out there just giving stuff away. Almost feels like it's for free. Like, there's no way you're not losing money on giving away retros.
Yeah.
What the hell, man?
I know.
Community is amazing, but patreon.com/South Harmon. That's where you can get your deals featured, plus all the other good shit going on in the Discord. Adam, I always love, we record 4D chess video only for our patrons.
Yep.
They get to watch it and way before everybody else. I released that Friday morning at midnight. I just uploaded 4D while we're recording this one. Man, a lot of good stuff there. And
90-minute. It was fun.
I got one more coming for the people. One more. It will be on podcast, but for the patrons, they'll get the video and they'll get a couple bonus buys every single week. I'm going to sit down and start going through warps, buys, and sells. Ones that I've noticed from the warp tool. We talk a lot about them on the trade show, but Adam, sometimes we ain't got enough time. We got 7 deals to go through every single week. I don't have enough time to talk about all the good warp buys and sells out there. So it's going to be its own standalone show.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's as if there aren't people that put their trades out here and don't get on the show. Speaking of which, if you do want to make the show, you want to put your trades out here, you're either not sure if you won or lost, probably we can tell you, like we do with Peter every week, and maybe you're like Mr. Wonderful, but patreon.com/South Harmon. Peter says he loves it, honestly, so Peter, we love you. It's just, it's one of those things. Speaking of one of those things, make sure you check out Ultimate Autographs. Mike, I'll tell you, building out the other side of the room, the basement down here, and got some signed shit, buddy. I did. So
let's go.
Ready to, this time, maybe next week or the following for sure, give you a little look over there. There's kind of crowded here with all the Browns crap, but Ultimate Autographs, our friends, our partners, signed sh.it. Make sure you check out their box breaks. Mike, box breaks went really well for me, and certified sh.it. Listen, if you want to get the Midnight Blue, the Puka, we have from our friends, we have a Chris Godwin extra large giveaway coming at some point this month as well. So make sure that you go over to certified sh.it. Mike, they also have 25% off right now if you use the code SWEATER. So
let's go.
Now, granted, if you try to go get like a brand new player, it's kind of like a custom jersey technically. They're not going to be able to use that code. But for all the other ones, 25% off, not too bad. Let them know we sent you.
Welcome to South Harmon.
Prompt, early, first thing, no chance to even, think. As soon as, I just keep doing this to people. I keep forgetting that other people have lives too. It's not fair. I went out on a big limb. That's not really a big limb, but I was putting Malik at wide receiver 1 in Dynasty and make a big stink about it. And the guy tears his ACL early in the year. And the worst part too, can I say the worst part? Obviously, you make this trade. We're going to get into the trade. But the worst part is Jackson Dart was, the hope that we needed, right? The idea of, hey, all right, maybe he's going to, build rapport with a first-round quarterback. And actually, you say what you want about him throwing the football, but I thought he threw it pretty well at times, and he definitely ran the ball and brought a totally new life to this offense. They won the football game while Malik is out for the year. So with that in mind, you're in the South Harmon Vibes League here. This is a 12-team Dynasty baseball. So this is a startup from this offseason, right? You move off of Nabers, and in a best ball league, I think in particular, we talked about this on AMA. In best ball, you already can roster construct without having to have the elite receivers. I'm not telling you don't want to have them, but you can basically backfill with depth, and it makes more sense for sure to pivot here. Now, unfortunately for you, you make the pivot to Trey Benson, Xavier Worthy, Sam Darnold. You probably didn't love it. I know you are very high on Worthy, so maybe you did, but you definitely don't love to see, and this is one of those things that just what a shitty domino effect. You get Trey Benson all of a sudden on IR, at least not out for the year, but walk us through, you making this trade. Obviously, it was before the injury, and then, your thought process for it, and then what you're thinking now.
I felt a hell of a lot better for about a day after I made the trade than what happened with Trey Benson going on injured reserve for the next 4 to 6 weeks, maybe longer. Yay. That part sucks.
Mike's got 2 of his Listen, he trades one. He's got another guy going under the knife. That's tough, man.
Yeah, it's a rough look. But here, we'll get into it when we get to the warp on this. But when you see it, like this best ball league, running backs, quarterbacks run the warp, and they have historically. They are this year, same kind of thing. I mean, you do got the Puka balling out of control right up at the top. But
dude, he I mean, he's been unreal for the first part of the year, no question.
And in best ball leagues, when you're trying to compete, you don't want to roster zeros, right?
No.
And I needed to get off Malik Nabers while the value was still at its highest, because it's going to fade over the next couple of weeks as he's more out of sight, out of mind, and people stop thinking about him.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to carry those zeros. So that's why I was so quick to act. Typically in best ball too, you talk about a 1-for-3 trade. Like, it almost always favors the 3. Like, I've made these a lot of these kind of deals where people will clown the shit out of me for what I got back in a 1-for-3 because I'm trading away a stud or a superstar at the time.
Sure.
And the 3 players almost always trump the 1 player almost exclusively.
I think especially listen, it's funny, the longer we do this, we get some things right and we get more things wrong too. But what I will say about best ball, Mike, is that especially when it's in a startup year, right? The startup was this year, even in a 1 year removed from a startup, especially, right? There's not been enough time for someone to, even if everything went their way, there's not really been enough time and moves taking place to where you're looking at a deep juggernaut, right? So I think in particular, like, not that the process isn't still correct as a whole process, right? Like in almost any format of best ball, I don't care what the situation is, how long it's been, the 3-for-1 probably wins out. It's just the laws of math. But Mike, when you are in this part of the parity, right? When the parity's this close, everybody's still kind of, freshly out of a startup. No one likes to trade away Malik Nabers, frankly, right? Even in warp like this, Mike, he's a dynasty asset everyone likes. But to your point, you probably already don't have a deep enough roster relative to what you'd like to have. So, all right, let's go ahead and do this. I think, Mike, in a best ball format like this, it's honestly not even that crusty at the time. Now, I mean, shit. The Benson thing sucks. Like, Sam Darnold, I think, is one of those pieces where he's playing better than I think we expected. And especially in best ball, Mike, with warp like this is single year data. I mean, dude, you throw a Sam Darnold in the mix, and if he fucking makes your lineup, he makes your lineup. I mean, you just continue to add starting quarterbacks because it also deprives the rest of the field from starting quarterbacks here. Mike, you talked about the warp in this league, and it's interesting because I know in ours, the one I'm in, you and I are in different South Harmon Vibes leagues. Fizz actually took the running back warp, like the scoring, he tinkered it down from where we were at, and
because this one was so ridiculous.
Well, Mike, I'm telling you, the other one is like he had them both of the same, and they were basically outrageous. So the point is, this is even showing you how already it's inflated. And look at this, man. Outside of Puka, to your point, who's absolutely balling out of his fucking mind, right?
Yes, sir.
James Cook, Christian McCaffrey, Bijan, all basically giving you the exact same. One of the things to keep in mind, though, is pretty interesting. It's single year data. You look at recommended data, which is the multi-year warp, right? Basically what you're seeing is the upper quadrant is primarily going to be consisting of, your hammer running backs and hammer quarterbacks. Now, your elite tight end, Travis Kelce, Brock Bowers could end up sneaking in there, as could a Puka or someone that's, dominating that season, a CeeDee Lamb in 2023, a Jamar Chase last year. But look at how this green line in multi-year, Mike. You're talking 24 running backs, right, are over 2 in warp. Buddy, that's you already in best ball want to have, the top 50 roughly running backs, the ones that are going to get touches. This is a trade where, man, I'm not even the biggest Benson guy. I don't think you are, but I probably would have reluctantly made this trade. It just sucks that he got hurt right away. But that's one of the things to keep in mind is when you trade for players, right? You're kind of, it's one of those things where imagine playing, at the roulette table and you keep betting on black. Well, you feel like it's eventually going to go your way if it's not, but it's actually just a new bet every time. You have a new set of players that could get hurt. I think you make the correct play here, Mike. But I think right now, let me ask you, what do you do with Benson? Do you hold him, or what's your next play now?
He's probably going to end up being in a hold. Like he just like I don't think I'm going
his
to
value
extract
crushed.
any. Yeah. I mean, what am I going to get out of it? A fucking Tony Pollard at best? Like that would be, ooh, yay. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, actually, so let's you know what, Mike, let's go. Let's lab this thing up, buddy. You may not want to, but we're going. All right, we're going. So, Mike, let's talk about your roster. All right. Well, you can't do it for Tony Pollard because you already have him. For those that were
unfortunately.
So
just using him as an example.
But the archetype, the archetype. I look at your roster, right? You got Kyler, you got Bijan, Travis Etienne, Debo, Pittman, Worthy. You're already kind of leaning in outside of Neighbors. You're leaning into the value wide receivers who are actually playing well. Hawkinson, Danny Dimes, Sam Darnold, McCarthy, A-Rich. For a lot of people, that's a quarterback room that could puke. Honestly, like it's still not the greatest, but listen, this absolutely gets it done. So I love even adding – when I see this quarterback room, I love adding Sam Darnold for the price you did, honestly. You know, and look at the bench. Like I think this is clearly a team that needs some depth. How are you feeling about your team right now? Do you think you're still pretty solidly in the contending mix? You have all your picks, I see.
In the contending mix, but here's the thing, right? Like fresh out of a startup, we talk about it all the time, especially in best ball leagues, but it applies to lineup too. Right out of a startup, you're going to have the most parity that you're going to have in the entirety of this Dynasty League's history because everybody kind of thinks they're competing, right? And all the teams are going to be relatively close. You don't have super contenders. You don't have super rebuilders. Sitting in fifth right now with the points that I have scored and the roster that I have, I'm in the mix. Let's just say that. I'm in the mix. If I was sitting here, I would have to be far more aggressive, for example, if I had already traded away a first. You know what I mean? Like if I've already given away my 26 first, then the Trey Benson thing, like, fuck, okay, we'd have to take Tony. I wouldn't even give a shit if it was worse than Tony Pollard. You know what I mean? At that time, like you just got to do it. I think I'm in a position where we'll wait and see how the next couple of weeks go. If they go well, right? Like I'm going to have Rachaad White. You post scroll down. That guy's going to be starting this week, right? We don't know how serious the Bucky injury is. Trevor Etienne, Chuba's missing time, right? Like if I can get a little bit of bonus out of these kind of guys and some of these rookie wide receivers like Matthew Golden, Jaden Higgins, et cetera, start to actually fucking do something and start to make some lineups, then the team's in pretty good spot. And it's a good thing that I have that first, second, third, all my draft picks, because then I might get a little bit more aggressive on, okay, I am going to go try to win it this year. But on the contrary, I like sitting in this spot where I'm still fucking around in the mix, you know?
Yeah.
Like we're soaking right now. We're soaking.
I was going to say, this is a soaking and you're kind of wondering if anything's going to happen, right? You're like, well.
I'm deciding whether or not we're going to get a pump in. You know what I mean? But we're going to wait a little bit and figure it out.
If you don't know what we're talking about, just it's okay. You don't have to.
If this goes sideways, if I'm sitting here like week 7, 8, right? We get another couple weeks into it, and I'm still fucking around in 5th, 6th place, you know, with a couple losses on the record. I'm not pushing in. I'm probably going to lean to the other side and go, all right, Mr. Voorhees or Ease or Redwards or, you know, El Gancitos in this league. We got a lot of patrons in here. You guys want to go win this fucking thing? You know, like what do you got for useful players and draft picks? I'm ready to sell Michael Pittman. I'm ready to sell Debo. You know, I'm ready to make deals. You know, I'm ready to get these guys off my fucking squad. So,
yeah, it's actually, you know, this is really interesting. It's the we're in like it's like the pregame to the dance back in high school. It's like awkward. You're trying to figure out, you know, what you're gonna do. You don't know what to do with your hands. You're like, there's one person that has an additional first, right? And it's Terminal Sarcasm's first. Which, Mike, I mean. Terminal Sarcasm, kind of to your point, like his hands are a little more tied and he's kind of limping here. He's trying to figure out his date left him. I think it's interesting because, man, I mean, one of the things is even if you already made the trade, there's no point in going back and acting like you can change it. I still don't think I still would. I'm kind of with you, but I'm also kind of looking at this and thinking, all right. I'm 3-1. My points are, you know, in the mix for sure. I'm right where I want to be. But let's say I have a couple more bad things break. Like this team's probably teetering on the shoulders and the back are carrying a lot of fucking things right now. It's fragile. There's a lot of fragility. if it works out, I think you could definitely be in the mix because other people are going to have injuries too. But
Yeah.
if I had another, serious injury or two, Mike, I'd almost be considering, if you lose, right? So say you go 3-2, your points for aren't, crazy. I'd almost be considering, can I kind of push and mix this up? Can I get some people to kind of get off of the, wait and see game? Because you do have the one thing that's nice to your point, since you're soaking, you have some assets that people 100% will be paying out the nose for, honestly, in best ball, right? So I think you're kind of in a good spot, as good of a spot as you could be in, given all the injuries. But meaning, I think you're flexible. Like if things work right, if Xavier Worthy's balling out, and we get some of these players that are just staying healthy, doing what they're supposed to do, you get another couple wins. I mean, obviously, then you're going to start maybe considering pushing those picks in. But I also feel like you could probably sell some players that are, would be much more beneficial for you to take picks or younger players and rebuild this thing, considering no one's really picked directions yet, honestly.
Right. And one of my favorite things, just mentioning this team, not with this trade or whatever, but the thing that's like keeping me in it, even though I just lost Malik Nabers and now I've lost Trey Benson.
Yeah.
Sunday fucking morning, 6:08 a.m. I picked up Darren Waller.
Dude, well, I was going to say.
For $0 and it was like, hey, look at this.
Speaking of the A-Warp tight end life, Mike, how about getting a guy that's been, in all kinds of drama and not playing in the NFL going. Right. Dude, he went nuclear, I would honestly say.
Yes.
It was absolutely ridiculous.
Waller, the baller's back. Let's go, baby.
What a Monday night. Mike, I mean, it's like you're kind of just getting settled and 2 touchdowns already. You're like, holy Santa Claus shit.
I need more of that, though. Like, I think to be a true contender, you're going to need more of that. I'm going to need a couple more breaks to go my way.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because what I was going to say too, Mike, is that when you look at this trade real quick, I kind of put the cart before the horse. You saw the big one there. When you make trades like this, right, in best ball, by just volume, right, it'll tend to work out, even though the dynasty value, now you're kind of picking up the pieces later. But you don't care. You're trying to win. But if you think about Benson getting hurt here, like this is one of those trades where when you do this and you continue to multiply, your team's going to be good. But if you kept having your down-tiering dynasty value and you get unlucky breaks like this is where you could end up being like, fuck, dude, what am I looking at now? Because I keep trying to down-tier. I'm getting screwed. It's not your fault. It's just one of those things you got to keep in mind with players versus picks.
One of the big things, too, with when wide receiver warp is depressed like that is in that league, the difference between Malik Nabers and Xavier Worthy is not as big as we normally view for your standard leagues, right? Like across the board, right? The actual difference in what they make as far as me winning games in this league is I'm not going to say minimal, but it's very, very similar. It's very, very similar.
Now, I mean, I will say, like, obviously you look at Puka, right? And if the wide receiver one, and maybe there's one or two that kind of differentiate from the pack, but by and large, even the guys that are pretty elitely valued don't have a production, massive gap from a top 20 wide receiver. And the thing that's also important is it's not just one to the other. You basically can backfill with a bunch of cheaper options to get you closer to the Malik, right? That's the big thing in best ball. Yeah. So
I think Koopa taught us that lesson in South Harmon Dynasty Degenerates, that amalgamation of a league that you made with ridiculous running back warp.
I wish I hadn't, honestly, anymore. It's one of those.
Yeah.
It's a baby you found out was just. Well, I mean, it's also like you don't know when I made it. I was just trying to make something kind of a little bit more aggressive. I didn't really know what was going to come of it. But Mike, it's honestly everybody kind of has an idea of what they want and don't want, right? Like quarterbacks are too devalued, running backs are way too valuable, and so it just makes a weird dichotomy of dynamics and trading. Speaking of weird dichotomy and dynamics and trading,
call me daddy. What a league name!
I'm in this league. Call me daddy, and my league name is I'm your father now. Look at me. I'm your father now. So, Mike, this though is crazy, right? So we talk about this a lot, and it's the dynasty gamer on average is kind of becoming more of a in the moment redraft minded player. And I think honestly we're playing the game as a redraft game in a way this year, right? But man, when you think about how quickly things can change, right? I feel like in the offseason we might say that. We might think about that. We may have pointed to some things in the past. But I promise you nobody's fucking ready. I don't care how high you were on Ibuka and how low you were on Nabers. I don't think anyone's fucking ready and thought this was coming week 5. Straight the hell up, man.
Straight up, baby.
Mike, this is we just went over this in 4D, right? It ended up being towards the later part of the summer, the 109 in ADP. This is a guy that was a late first. In some of our early drafts, we saw going round 2. I mean, holy hell. Now, listen, you gotta. Both of these leagues, I will say this: both of these leagues where you're trading Nabers, best ball, start 12. I think the South Harmon Vibes one is also like a start 12 roughly. You're talking about 30 plus roster spots. You do not want to hold zeros there if you're trying to contend. I think the one thing to keep in mind though, if you are in a similar situation, if you're going to move on from Nabers, you really want to contend, right? Because if you were going to not contend, or you were thinking about potentially not contending, I mean, park at 0 and keep the dynasty value down the road. But with this though, I'm in this league. I get it. I get it from Koopa's side, and I think a lot of times it's just, hey, you need to kind of be willing to compartmentalize your feelings or whatever this kind of craziness is, and just, hey, lean into it, right? At the wide receiver position, I think I would rather. I love Ibuka, you know that. I think I would rather probably get, if in a perfect world, a twofer, right? Can I just tear down a little further and not to quite as sexy of an asset and get another piece here? I will say Ibuka probably is gonna, he's gonna have a hard time losing value outside of an injury as well. But that would have been my only preference. But I don't think it's a bad pivot, honestly. It just feels crazy.
It does. It does that we're here already. But I will say this, for both of these guys, and knowing like the situation right off the bat, right? Like I don't think DB's making this move if he's any type of contender, right? He's not taking on Nabers. And I don't think for Koopa, this is pretty clear as day, he's not making the move unless he's actually competing, right? Like he's not just dumping Nabers for Ibuka.
And the other thing to keep in mind too about this one, right? So there was not any that I recall anyway, trades for first, but this was an auction. There was an auction this summer. So if you haven't been in one, or if it's been a while, like the auctions can tend to get a little bit weird. People, the way they manage their money, and when you look at what comes out of that, right? A lot of times you can be a lot more locked into competing. You may end up actually doing pretty well in an auction and be like, all right, fuck it, we're ready to go this year, right? So I do think for Koopa's standpoint, he's a team. I believe he's in first. If he's not, he's right in the mix there. So definitely a strong contender. Yeah, there you go.
So let me say this, right? Yep. The reason I love it for both of them, right? We'll go to Barry's side. If I'm rebuilding on this, and I'm like, fuck, get these points off my team, and also too, I don't know how much Barry is in agreement with me on this. Like I feel like I'm against the grain when it's about Emeka Buka. Let me first say this. He's scoring fantasy points, and he's scoring them at a great clip, which is awesome for our fantasy teams. But that's where a lot of people will stop their analysis. He's young. He's a rookie. Look what the fuck he's doing, Mike. How can he be so naive? I will say there's some underlying metrics, and I brought them up to you before, that are concerning with him, that maybe his fantasy production, is a little bit inflated, right? That there's some kind of fluky shit. I watched the Eagles game last week. You can't take points away, okay? We can't live in the world of what ifs. But that was a ball that should have been fucking intercepted, and you take away a 77-yard touchdown, and you take away the points off the board. And outside of that, you're looking at 3 catches for 40 yards. Is where he was at.
I think it's also,
you can't take him away. You can't take him away after the fact. But
you can't do that, and you also can't because on the inverse, right? I think it's one of those things that
what could have been on the other side, right?
The other game, right? He had a really long catch that could have had a lot more there too.
But outside of that, like the advanced analytics I'm talking about, like his separation score, whether it's fantasy data points, if you want to go look at that one, if you want to go look at player profiler, if the ESPN stuff it came out, hasn't been good. It's been pretty piss poor as far as him getting separation. And then I brought up the target share a couple weeks ago. While decent and impressive for a rookie, if we're talking about the elite of the elite wide receivers where we're valuing him now and where he's getting pushed up to, I do have some concerns. But let me flip it over the other side. If I'm Koopa, most people don't share these concerns that I have, right? So if I'm Koopa and I want to make this deal, let me get the hottest fucking wide receiver asset there is in the game right now, as far as the ascension and where he's going and the revere that people talk about with him.
Mm-hmm.
If Koopa is smart, which I think both you and I know, he's going to understand that even if there's a Mike in the league who doubts it, there's besides Barry now, there's 10 other fucking managers, 9 other managers that he can go and shop at their store and maybe tear down off of Emeka Egbuka before an ugly wart game comes where it's like, oh yeah, he can't separate. And outside of a fluky touchdown, you're looking at 4 or 5 fantasy points. This kind of sucks, right? And we put a little bit of a cold water on it. So I like it from both aspects. Now, if I was doing this just as like your
I
average,
do too. When I started talking about it, for the record, it's still, even though I'm in the league and saw it, it's still a processing it thing. But I do like it for both sides as well. And I got some good points. But yeah, keep going.
But yeah, if he's smart about this, which I think he is, he's gonna shop Emeka Egbuka, and he probably started to already. Like he's probably already in people's DMs sniffing out, like, can he get, like you mentioned, the twofer now out of this deal? Can he go and trade Emeka Egbuka for? Let's just say, like, can he even go to Drake London? Like, is that in the realm of outcomes where you could tear down to Drake London? It sounds fucking crazy to say now too. 5 weeks in, can you tear down to a Drake London? Can you tear down to, I don't know, like some of these old crustier wide receivers we talked about on my roster that are producing? Like, what's a tear down to, like, Cortland Sutton get you in a plus as a contender? Like,
yeah,
I bet you get a pretty good one.
Well,
a really good one.
A pretty good one. You're going to get, I would argue, a great one, probably.
Smash, yeah. So he's got options, and we've seen enough of Emeka Egbuka trades here already through this season where it's like the haul that he can get back if he decides he wants to move on from him is going to be pretty good and set him up even more into contender mode.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's funny because so Mike, when you and I were talking about it on AMA, right? I think one of the things I've said about it with Malik Nabers is, so if you're trading and pivoting into players right now, right? Obviously, that's probably what you're looking to do. You're looking to, move off of a player that's not going to score and get into contending scoring assets. Doing it right now, the risk obviously is kind of what you saw with the Trey Benson trade. I mean, listen, the variance is what it is. No one's expecting to fucking trade and a couple days later it's another injury. I mean, that's bad luck. But at the same time, everybody has a chance to get hurt out there, unfortunately. If you trade for picks, right, you get value insulation. But then what is the pick value and value insulation, right, versus Nabers? And they both have the same problem. They can't go in your lineup. This is, I think, as I'm thinking through it now, I think Coop is making a smart play just by, in this league, pivoting off of Nabers. You've got a really good team. Make that pivot. I don't know how much this is coming into play for him, but, why don't I go ahead and just give you this thought process that just came to me, as you're already dominating me anyway, Coop. But this is, I think, Mike, playing, in a way, the best case of both worlds, right? Nabers is hurt. He's not going to score. But Egbuka can kind of score, maybe not quite to your point, and where you're worried about certain metrics, to the elite of elite, right? But he's scoring. Listen, he could absolutely score top 15, top 20 for another several weeks. But one thing is, I'm looking through this, right? This is very similar to these. This is a startup. It was an auction. We have the dance again, right? This is prom, man. No, there is not a single first been moved, right? Everybody's got their pick. They all got them. So, Mike, as he has Egbuka scoring points and getting rid of that 0, when some of these teams eventually start kicking their first around, right? They start deciding that, all right, let me bow out. You know what Egbuka gets you? Egbuka gets you the best of both worlds. Egbuka gets you points, maybe not to Nabers' degree, but he probably is going to get you a lot. He is going to open up the candy store, man. You get whatever you want. He's no holds bar. So I think, actually, as I think about it, the dynamics for Koopa, it's borderline fucking outrageously brilliant. Now, for Barry, I think here's the thing, right? Egbuka right now, if you took him in an auction, I think there's some sunk cost fallacy, but at the same point, it's still kind of a real thing, right? You have an asset that's trending towards elite levels. I mean, Nabers is going to be injured. We'll see what he ends up being, how you play around with, the the value, and if you want to wait and see if he comes back fully healthy, if it's just an ACL. But Mike, I think about it from the standpoint of, okay, you pivot off of Puka into a former elite asset. We'll see what he comes back to. He's probably going to still be valued pretty highly next year. And then you think about, all right, getting the points off your roster and going ahead and trying to be one of these teams that does have contending assets. James Cook, right? I mean, BTJ while struggling. George Pickens, right? Travis Etienne. Like, if you're trying to go ahead and get the ball rolling on people trying to go ahead and separate themselves from picks and try to, establish picking a direction, I think that trade helps you and forces your hand a little bit to start making ways to go do that. So, again, sometimes it takes a while, but I want to be the first of the punch typically when we rebuild. So, right now, I'm kind of, I don't want to say stuck in the middle, but I'm, stuck not at the top. How's that? So
not at the top. Looks a lot like the first trade. We're both kind of hanging around.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the points for between me, Cody, and Chase, I mean, we're 6-2 all right there. So it's hard to.
You're less than 50 off of first place, buddy.
Yeah, but it's also like you're in that spot where Koopa's team's good. You still got your work cut out for you. So don't worry, I'm still your father now. All right.
That's right. Don't worry, you're okay. I saw Koopa's quarterback room too. I'd be shitting my pants too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen. There's always an angle, and we'll be having to find it. Unfortunately, Nabers got hurt, and that was a wild trade. Now, speaking of wild, I mean, Mike, imagine telling somebody in the offseason when Harvey was going to the moon, Darnold in a second in a lineup start 11. It's the Catalina fucking wine mixer, man. It's the Catalina fucking wine mixer. Start 11. Let me ask you this, Mike. What's Harvey worth to you right now? He did last week, I think we both agreed, show some upside that we're kind of interested in at where his cost might be a little bit depressed. Right. At the same point, like I'm not, getting crazy for RJ Harvey at this point. Where would you value him as far as like generically picks wise?
Let's see. I mean, Keep Trade Cut right now is just kind of stupid with their ranks.
Well, just so you know, everyone listening, if you guys are people that click on there, we're talking about you, okay?
Yeah. They're pretty fucking bad with their ranks. I would say I'd probably put him right in that, let's say, Kyron Brees, Kenneth Walker tier, right?
Okay.
I would put him ahead of Derrick Henry because of Derrick Henry's age and struggles. Like, his value is pretty depressed. I made another trade this week.
So
won't be on the show.
It's funny because I think people kind of get stuck on narratives of what we've thought in the past, and they kind of forget that we do move our. You seem like you're pretty in on at that point. You seem pretty in on RJ Harvey relative to the pack.
And in reality, that's going to put him as a mid to back end RB2.
Right. Yeah, he's going to be like RB18 or something.
But like the guys around him that I'm putting below him, where I'm like, this feels dumb. They don't have any value insulation. They have no real room for upside, at least in my opinion, right? Like Cam Scatterbo is above
for air.
Cam Scatterbo is above him, but Cam Scatterbo might be like one of the least explosive running backs I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, at the NFL level.
And there's similar values, right? But the big thing, obviously, and this is where in season it will shift this way. That at the moment, Tracy's hurt, and it could be here to stay. But the backfield shift and share, dude. Cam got 27 touches last week. I mean, it's insane. If RJ Harvey was getting 20 touches a game, Mike, if Dobbins wasn't there,
holy fuck.
God, fuck me. You serious?
Yeah, he's going way higher after that. Chase Brown.
He's going in the Quinchon range, honestly.
Travis Etienne's around that range. Travis Etienne is all production, which is nice for your contending teams, but Travis Etienne is an injury or a couple poor fucking games away from being buried again when people are just like, who gives a shit, right? Tony Pollard of Jacksonville, that's what he is. So
right back to where we were penciling him in all offseason.
Exactly. So right? I think just by default, it's not that I'm like super high on RJ Harvey. It's just everybody around him. Like, Adam, he's probably RB 17.
Well, no, it's funny. I said 18, just guessing. But the thing is, like, that I'm glad you articulated that because, but at the same point, I think a lot of people are kind of, again, very much into what have you done for me lately and right now, I think people are you can tell people are pretty cool. Nobody wants to talk and say things aloud about the RJ Harvey movement at the moment. When and if it happens, right? When he starts, getting more snaps, or if something happens to Dobbins, or he eventually takes over the backfield, they'll be loud again. But for now, they're all kind of like quietly trying to stay in the back seat and not talk about it. I all that to say, excuse me, all that to say, Darnold in a second though, is that because now remove the running backs, right? We're going to a totally different game. We're going a second-round pick. What can you get with a second-round pick and a back-end starter? And this is a lineup league, though, right? So how appealing is Darnold in a second to you in a lineup league? 26 second, albeit.
Not very much. Not very much.
Not at all, man.
This wouldn't even come close to me for sending away RJ Harvey.
I think, okay, you think about it. If you were doing this trade, and I'm trying to think about the logic I would try to think about it as, maybe I can get that second round pick to buy a player that's maybe not quite RJ Harvey draft capital wise or upside wise, but I mean right now maybe you could buy a Woody Marks. You don't even have to go to the young department though, right? You could also probably get a down the stretch. I mean, second probably still get you J.K. Dobbins or players that are going to contend assets, and then you get the quarterback. I think I could understand it if Mike, the problem is this. To me, in a lineup start 11, my team would have to have gone through something pretty hellacious, and I would feel really gross about this, and I'd be like, I had no other option but Darnold to get me even through right now. So I guess we should go check out the lab and see, get off of Call Me Daddy and see what's going on with the team build. But I just can't imagine, Mike, where I'm thinking about going into the bye weeks needing to move my RJ Harvey for Sam Darnold in a second. There, in a lineup league, if I'm having to start Sam Darnold, I have faded quarterback. I've faded them like piss, or I am just in a horrible situation with injuries. So I just can't imagine it, man.
No, it's got to be pretty fucking bad, man. I mean, Sam Darnold's a replaceable level quarterback, and I just put him in the fucking deal that featured, right? But best ball, right? The best ball quarterback. You know what I mean? Fuck it. He might have a game. He might make my lineup one time. Or we're going to have a bye week or an injury. At least I know I'm going to have something in my super flex that might get 15 points. Cool. That's all I'm asking out of Sam Darnold. He's a replacement level quarterback, right? And the only reason that you even put him in that best ball thing is because I don't want to roster a whole lot of backup quarterbacks that I have to wait on an injury in front of them to go fuck yeah, nailed it in best ball. In the lineup, Adam, in lineup leagues, my entire bench is filled with what if running backs, what if quarterbacks, those guys on the 2 deep. I'm just waiting for my moment, waiting on my moment.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
Yep. That's what you're doing. You can't afford to do that in a best ball league, but this is a lineup. Dude, I don't want to fucking roster.
Look at this. Opzerk. Well, I don't know. Opzerk. He's got at least on the lab, almost the highest scoring team in the league, 3-1. Now, here's the thing, right? Let me just say this. I'm all about having a backup quarterback if I can, right? But there are levels in where I don't think I'm getting rid of RJ Harvey personally to secure Sam Darnold as my quarterback 3. I get it. Stafford is one weird play away from having some time missed. I still got A-Rich. Listen, I mean, he's not looking like he's going to get in anytime soon, but you never know. And also, Mike, I think here's my thing. I think I'll be able to buy. Maybe it's going to cost me something. Maybe it's going to cost me some real draft capital. But if something was to happen to Stafford, can't I go buy a quarterback somewhere for a second or a couple seconds that's Sam Darnold-like? I just don't feel like I have to make this move right now.
No, this is why we advocate for holding on to your picks, right? And he has his first and second. I'm holding on to him. I'm just going to roll Josh Allen, Matt Stafford until injury or whatever tells me that, fuck, I can't do that no more. I got to make a move. This is what I keep my goddamn picks for. Now I'm going to pounce. But I'm going to enjoy the fact that, I might be able to flex RJ Harvey. Or here with bye weeks and the way injuries are going, while he may have a 5-point floor, we just saw last week, even on 30%, 40% of the fucking touches, he also may have a 20 or 25 point ceiling just because of the explosion of that offense. So
for sure,
dude, I'm not fucking. I wouldn't do this ever.
Now, let me just say, as I'm going through this, right, I look at roster construction. To me, this is one of these. There's a lot of things I don't love here, right? There is a ton of receivers, right? You look at from Darius Slayton, Malik Washington, Hollywood, Nuke Hopkins, Olamide Zaccheaus, Xavier Hutchinson, Tyquan Thornton, Jack Besh, Juju. You got Shepard, Hunter Renfrow, Tyreek Hill, unfortunately, RIP, right? But, like, dude, that's a ton of bench spots to the wide receiver position where realistically, like, yeah, we saw Hollywood get a bunch of touches or targets, I mean. But even then, Mike, like, look what happened. He's pretty quickly, evaporated. Everything else on this roster looks dust at the receiver position. You don't really think there's much upside unless something crazy happens. And then this is the problem now, right? You move on from that player in R.J. Harvey. See, R.J. Harvey's like, it's funny, the Sean Payton thing. He's my joker on this team. Like, if I look at the rest of my bench now, all my upside feels gone. Now, granted, Giddens is an injury away from having the backfield from Taylor, right? Marshawn Lloyd, we'll see if he can stay fucking healthy himself. I mean, but, man, it just – you got Sharps, and you've got Javonte, you got Pollard, you got Bucky, you got Cook. So you got a good running back stable room. But, Mike, I think with a guy like Harvey, another thing to keep in mind is, one, knock on wood, Bucky's out, probably going to be out this week. We are not sure, and we have no idea to predict what's going to be taking place at the running back position for the next – dude, it's week 5. You know how long the season is? Like, R.J. Harvey, to me, for this price, I wouldn't have done it. I think you could find a way to get Darnold-level quarterback 3, even when you're kind of backs against the wall. Like, he's not going to go astronomically higher. And if he is, you can go find another quarterback somewhere else.
Yeah, there's not a lot of upside there. There's not a lot of upside. On the warp graph, he's a completely replaceable fucking asset, too, which is just, ugh. Like,
and I'm looking at – you think about the way the market's moving, right? Like, I'm all about getting picks, okay? But GQ football's looks very much to be a contender, a playoff team. Not saying it's locks, but we're talking about a mid to late 26 second here. You just kind of, to me, nuked your upside for what? A microwave meal. Like, that's what it feels like. Microwave meal.
Well, QB3 insurance, like something that's not even making your lineup here until something like bad happens.
Ugh.
At all. You know what I mean? Like,
ugh.
How many times are you going to sit there, even with Matt Stafford, and go like, who do I start this week? Matt Stafford or Sam Darnold?
I just can't stand to see you sitting here like this. You got to find your dinosaur. Go up there. This is like trying to go into real life. Go to Enterprise Rent a Car. This is awful. I don't want to play the game this way. I'm sorry.
Bravo to Roy though. Like,
yeah, great job. I mean,
dude, I get to send a mid-ish second, and get Sam Darnold the fuck off my team, and pick up R.J. Harvey, who could in the next couple of weeks have a massive value bump, and then I'm going to some super contender and being like, hey, what up? What do you want? I'm willing to move R.J. Harvey, bud.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, too, when you think about it, right, like, I guess, I don't even know. I'm trying to be serious, but I can't. It basically, Mike, I could tell you all till I'm blue in the face, hey, I think picks are a great value, go buy them. But if in your market you're able to use picks to buy stuff like that, like, listen, there's give and take to every, specific league and format. Here you go, Mr. Wonderful. In case anyone wondered, okay? Let's talk about this. I think there's some scenarios where I got to know where this pick is for damn sure. And Marv looked good last week as far as his second half, and I think it's going to take some time still, but his overall talent eventually will win out. Now, whether you think he's talented or not, speaking of winning out, I mean, Puka Nacua right now, we saw the warp in Mike's league. This dude is it's like all the stuff we saw in his rookie year, like the raw targets and all. It's like all coming to fruition, and he's staying healthy. Knock on fucking wood, please, God. We don't need anything else. But he's been absolutely dominant. I mean, he's absolutely tearing it up right now. He's on an elite pace. Mike, let me ask you this: 26 first, Boney Macaroni is the big thing, right? What the hell, Boney Macaroni pick looks like? 'Cause it's not Maddie's, so you're not leveraging your own. Where are you at on this lineup? Start 10.
Lineup start 10 as long as this pick is mid to late, right? Anywhere in there. This is Puka.
See ya.
No question. Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua. As much as I want to
I love Marv, but not like this. Yep. Not like this. I don't. Hell no.
Dude, Yeah, we talked about the warp on Puka right now. Even in a league like the one I'm in, where wide receivers don't really matter, Puka's fucking mattering in that league quite a bit. So in your normal leagues, he's going to be mattering even more. If this is a best ball league, Adam, I'm taking the Marv in the first side just out of pure process almost every single time. As great as Puka is, but just give me the two assets, right? But lineups start 10, lineups start 9, lineups start 11. This is Puka. If we talk lineup start 13, like when we're really trying to fill spots, maybe you go back to the two assets. Like that's kind of the fine line. But more times than not, this is going to be Puka every single day, unless we happen to pull up the lab. Unless we happen to pull up the lab. Yeah. Unless we pull up the lab and this is like the fucking 102 next year.
No, I mean, it's not. I mean, now, listen, it's, you look, there is, this is what I'll say. Matty McBean already, right, when you look at the standings in the scenario, he's trying to get himself in the easy money conversation. He wants to be closer to A. Patterson, right? So he still has his pick, which, makes sense, and he has several now. He's also picked up, you talk about pick hoarding, right? So it's like one of these deals where, man, I don't want Puka's points. I want to get my early pick. I've already got a lot of picks. But I will say, Mike, if you think about it this way, let me ask you this, right? So you got Zach Hughes' pick. You got Boney Macaroni's now, who's right here at 7. Looks like a potential non-playoff team. To your point, not a early, 1 or 2 or 3 pick, though. Ship that towards the top. A. Patterson is actually, though, Mike, or you already have A. Patterson, which is the current 101 team, the team that is 0-8. You already have his pick. And you have yours. You want to drive that closer to the bottom. So if this allows you to get points off your roster to drive in 2 of the top 3 picks, and you have them, and you pick up a potential top 6 pick here, does it change it for you?
So I'll say this is one of the few deals for Mr. Wonderful here over the last month where it's not completely one-sided. You know what I mean? And it has been bad in the past for Mr. Wonderful. We gave him plenty of shit. But
meaning we get the side of the other manager in process quite a bit. Yeah, a lot of times you're like, dude, what is this person doing? But hey, good for you.
I'll say if I'm Matty McBean and I put myself in his shoes, a lot of people won't like this, but I would trade away Puka to get Marv and to get the first, add to my collection, drive my points down. And then if Marv starts producing, right, like Marv goes on a run of the next couple of weeks, kind of like if he can build on what he did last week and he can build, then I'm going to shop Marv, right? Like I've gained some value. Yeah, I've doubled down. This is what I like to do as a rebuilder. And it's not always the sexiest
look at this team to some people. Too, though. Like it's not that all those picks, there's some players here that you could still move off of or try to build around. You're in a good spot. Listen, I think it's really hard to trade a guy like Puka away when you're seeing how he's smashing.
Correct.
The problem is, right, if you want to move off the points, if you have a team like this, for the record, right, just think about this for a second. You're starting Puka in Rome, okay? You're starting Hampton now. I mean, listen, you got some spots here you don't love, but Caleb's been scoring. Dude, you're not going to be in a position where you're just guaranteed losses right now. And you're definitely in the points for column, probably stacking up some things. So I get the process play for sure. I will say eventually you're probably going to want to tier up into some other assets, but you can worry about that for another day. What I will say, though, my only pushback is going to be, well, okay, how many of these teams up here, let's just quickly look at this. How many of these teams had a 26 first of their own? So this guy's 8-0. Maybe you probably didn't prefer his to Boney Macaroni's. And what else does he have? This person's down. Ship that. You already have their first. You already have Zach Hughes' first.
That was the key one, though. Go back to that ship that.
Yeah.
27, Matty McBean's pick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would have been my first target.
Oh, dude.
Honestly, pick back.
Honestly, dude, I think I'm making sure I do that. I will say, though, I kind of see, like, I could see this being a total different thing. Ship that's like, listen, doesn't matter what the fuck you do. You can give me Puka. I'm not shipping that to you, right? So now I'm like, I think, this could make sense to where you get in that bony macaroni feeling. You don't like it. You really hate not having your 27. Load up on 26 picks, and you look at that roster, and you could probably be very much making now your 27 pick not have to be early. So
right.
I'm with you. I probably would have tried to do that, and that's a very interesting dynamic. But Mike, if you have a team that's built like this, right? Matty McBeans, man, you've got already, the way I'm looking and viewing at this, you've got Hampton, top, 30 asset. Rome, top 20 asset. You got Caleb right now trending up. You got Matthew Golden. These are peaking in the future type of assets, right? I get it. It's kind of a risky move. If I'm trying to contend next year still, I don't know how much I care if my pick is at the 102 versus the 104 anymore. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But in the same sense too, like there's going to be some questions. Puka can smash for the rest of the year, right? Like he obviously can. He can finish as wide receiver 1 overall, be a warp god, the whole thing.
Definitely.
When we get to the off season, no matter really what he does, we're still going to hear the whispers and the rumors about what does Puka look like if Matt Stafford decides to step away, right?
Sure.
And we have a new quarterback situation that's present there. Like, is he going to favor?
Can
Puka
I tell you the one thing that you're not wrong, by the way. The one thing that I'm not leaning all the way into the oh my God, Puka's untouchable, but one thing that's actually working in the favor of that, Jamar Chase, down Burrow all year, right? We've seen him down Burrow. Jefferson is not necessarily smashing to the degree we've been accustomed to seeing him before because of quarterback play. So it could be where, while that I'm not disagreeing, it could be that it's not necessarily as strong. To your point, I think there's obviously in the offseason, it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. I'll say this, if he smashes like he's doing right now, full calendar year, kind of like a CD in 2 years ago, Jamar Chase last year, I mean, you got to go to that extreme. You got to basically differentiate yourself from everybody to a large margin. If he does that, he might fuck around and stay in the elite, top 3 tier for sure.
And listen, I'm not crazy to the fact too. Matt Stafford. We keep talking. It feels like we've talked about it for the last 2-3 years. Is Matt Stafford going to step away?
You think he wants to retire and go home to her?
Motherfucker, we could be talking about, is Matt Stafford going to be retiring in 2029? We could continue this. I mean, especially when my old lady.
He's like, if Aaron can do it,
backup at Georgia.
Yeah. He's like, if Aaron can do it, are you kidding me? You want me to go home? Absolutely not.
No, I'm good.
I think, Mike, this is a bold one, but I will say this: if you're Mr. Wonderful and you were in a position to do this with a team that's 7-1 and has this type of points, I definitely see the scenario quite a bit for Matty McBean. Very interesting, lot of interesting dynamics. You're telling me I got this team though, Mike? I mean, listen, you got some sketchy stuff with Lamar and Henry in the short term, but man, I think your team is good enough to get through with a Geno, right? With some of the bench players you have. You lock in a Puka on this team, man. I think you just do it. You just go ahead and say, fuck it. Yep. I'm in. Fuck it, we ball.
Fuck it, I'm in. We going. Yep, we ride.
All right, buddy. Let's get to the next one. So we've got, Brian Thomas Jr. Show me the money. BTJ in the first, or Amon-Ra. Speaking of this, tier up deal. This is a best ball start 10, not a lineup start 10.
Oh, we're in very similar territory to the trade before.
Yeah. I mean, so this one here, though, was lineup, right?
Yep.
This is lineup.
The only difference is now we go to best ball, and my process, me personally, will change, and I will go with exactly what I said before. I'm not fucking changing it, even though Brian Thomas is in scary hours now with this. God damn it!
And Amon-Ra, if it's not for Puka going to otherly work, Amon-Ra's literally the stepchild, but the same idea. He's absolutely balling.
For me, even if this pick is bound to be late. I still want the process of the 2-for-1, and I'm just, please God, Brian Thomas. Come on. I don't need you to be top 7 Dynasty wide receiver again, but let's solidify yourself in the top 16, buddy. And then I'm just going to ride that production and the pick.
So what you brought up though is the interesting part of where the stones have to come in, right? And not just the stones, but let's talk about it from a standpoint of range of outcomes. People don't like to talk range of outcomes, but I don't necessarily care because I think it's important to try to do. We also don't know, right? No one envisioned Puka going this high. No one envisioned Puka smashing quite to this degree because even if you love him, this is the best start he's ever had. The point is though, Mike, when I'm thinking about range of outcomes, if Brian Thomas Jr. is in scary hours, is there a potential where not just does he get out of there was arguments of him being in the elite tier. I fought them pretty. I don't want to say vehemently, but I was pretty against putting him in the elite tier this offseason. Is there a chance he could fall into like the tier 3 type of thing, tier 4, meaning T. Higgins type range, where now all of a sudden, not saying that you still wouldn't want the process here of the two players, but that he gets to a very non-elite viewed asset if he's having a really bad sophomore year as a whole. And this kind of continues to build up. I'm not saying that I'm making the trade for Amon-Ra right now. I'm just asking kind of the generic question.
I'm going to give you a pretty hard no. I'm not saying it's impossible because, Dynasty is an ever-evolving game and the Dynasty market ever evolves. But I'm going to lean on history here with Brian Thomas and say that I don't think that is very likely to happen at all.
Agreed.
Because of Garrett Wilson, because of Drake London, because of Rashee Rice. Slightly different situation too, but I kept last year being like, man, we should value Rashee way lower than what the community has him. Like, there's a lot of things going against him, and almost none of that shit seemed to matter and didn't really seem to affect his value. The possible suspension, the knee injury, the fact that the rookie teammate that they spent a first round on exploded at the back half of the year and just went nuclear all through the playoffs as well. It didn't seem to affect his value floor. How about that? Now, the ceiling and like the pizzazz that they had, that was kind of gone. Drake London and Garrett Wilson suffered through terrible fucking situations and quarterback plays for a couple years and always seemed to hover right around that tier 2 wide receiver for just about everybody. I don't see it happen with Brian Thomas, even if we continue this trend of this bad year, right? Like, people will then write it off. Trevor Lawrence is fucking gone. Let's get him a quarterback, and then he'll be right back. Well,
so, okay, I love the points, and honestly, they're great. They're great points. And they're absolutely this. They're the stories to kind of look at correlations to, right? The pushback, or I guess I don't even want to call it pushback, but the difference that I could see here, if we're talking, splitting hairs, right? London, Garrett Wilson, top 10 draft picks, prospects that we basically locked in as we believe. We 100% know they're the alpha, know they're going to be great, and we knew that before they stepped foot on the NFL field, we said, right? Rashee Rice, Patrick Mahomes. Like, no one really doubts, I still think at the moment, Patrick Mahomes' ability to feed the football to the guys that we believe are really good. And when his value hovered, it was, a lot around injury. We didn't see him go out and like kind of really be shitty per se. I'm not going to say BTJ's been shitty, but the situation feels awful. So the reason I say that is I still agree with you in a, range of outcomes. I think more often than not, he'll probably stay in the 17 range. Like, I don't think he gets to that next gross tier. But I think if you saw the scenario where he did fall, it's because of the people not necessarily believing in him as a truly elite prospect. A great one. He had a lot of very good traits, but he wasn't quite the top 10 pick. And then also, do we get really scared of Trevor Lawrence? What if we look at his overall body of work, Mike, and we say, man, literally it was Mac Jones and him that was the fucking production, and everything with T-Law has been just gross. Like, that could scare some people off. I'm with you, though. I think I probably still think he stays high enough. And I also think you can move BTJ, even if he has 1 or 2 weeks where it's not so bad, and profit here on the first. I think in the process play is hard to make this move right now because it feels scary for BTJ. But, man, in best ball, even though it's only start 10, it's just – I'd have to have I have a couple of these teams. I have a couple really great teams where I could afford to do this. Even then, though, this isn't the way I like to burn my capital, right? Like, I'm okay making tier ups and up. I don't want to do it straight out like this. This feels kind of too basic. Like, I'm kind of just leaving something to be made in another trade. I'd rather get a bigger package or move a first for another player, honestly, in a best ball than do it to go to the Amon-Ra point here.
I get you. I'm going to throw in one more point if you want to pull up the lab on this one too.
Yeah, do it.
We'll talk about the guy who got Amon-Ra because a lot of people will be like, oh, this is Amon-Ra, right? Like, you guys are on that side. But again, best ball changes a lot.
Okay.
Context of the league changes quite a bit as well.
Show me the money. Let's do it.
All right, so pull up It's Well K. Now look at this. Like, his starting lineup, as you scroll down, you're like, motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, no, listen, Theo Johnson I don't love, but if you tell me the up top, we're like, hey, listen, and you picked up Darren Waller, we might be cooking with something, right?
Now scroll down. Best ball league, Adam.
Ooh, we want to get rid of this 0 for sure.
Joe Burrow, hurt. Dylan Gabriel, he's going to get some spot starts.
You got Gabriel and Wentz, okay.
And Wentz, yep. But now keep going. This best ball roster is dog shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
The guy is sitting on a 0 in Joe Burrow. Hasn't moved him yet. And just leveraged his first.
I was going to say, dude, I would have been... I'll tell you this. I'm not opposed on a team even to move my first... My priority number one, I think... I still would... If I had to do it the inverse, I would. But my priority overall is to move off of Burrow here. Because whether I want to go crusty at quarterback or I need to get off of this asset, he's not going to play in any meaningful games for me this year. Like I think holding on to him is kind of a luxury that this team doesn't have. I mean, in best ball, I don't really probably ever do it anyway, but I don't think this team has the luxury at all.
Now do me one more favor. Pull the warp on this one.
Okay. Let's do it.
Now, keep in mind, people, just visualize that quarterback room, right? Theo Johnson's in the technically starting lineup right now is the most value because Joe Burrow's out. He's going to get spot starts from Wentz. He's going to get spot starts from Cooper Rush. He's going to get spot starts from, I forget the other shitter quarterback that he had on there. But either way, now pull up
Dylan Gabriel, Cooper Rush, yeah.
Dylan Gabriel, that was the other one. You go to the recommended data, like
Yep.
we go to the ones that are,
5 years.
how history does.
Yep.
And you'll shit yourself.
Well, I got some pants that already come pre-shit stained. If you want to go check out the merch tier, but
and think about it as a best ball roster too, with what he had on the bench, because there was next to dick on that bench. There was nothing.
Now,
this is why.
I will say this, right? In the best ball, you still can by volume get some of these weeks, but man, that is some score, dude. That's a really crazy quarterback line.
It is.
Show me the money.
Very good.
That
now, I don't know.
This is one of those in this league right now. Here, Mike, I would probably be more of the old school 2022 mindset with quarterbacks in a league like this, dude. Like fucking, you gonna have to take him out of my cold fucking dead hands.
I don't know if all this went into Soggy Danger's thought process when he did it, but now that I know this, I love his side of the deal infinitely more, right?
Well,
the Brian Thomas discussion we had, the multiplying assets in best ball, but two, I just made a massive gamble against a guy that I think doesn't understand what wins fucking games in this league, in a best ball league.
You know what's crazy too? We're gonna go to the next trade, but on the lab, if you were to look and go back just to visualize, if you are a visual person, the 8th and 9th place team in this league, right? And because it is best ball, right? You think about how a lot of people don't have the extreme roster construction knowledge or, discipline, really, in doing this in a best ball league. A lot of parity because of random people popping off. Mike, 8 and 9 in this league. 723 and 707, and then Soggy's at 673. So the reason I bring that up is these are all literally just as much. Bay Ridge at 723 and 1 and 3 is basically the same amount of points for scored as is it's K. So you look at Burrow still out there. You look at first now. I think I would have been like, if any of that stuff comes to fruition, great. But I'm just in process taking this and kind of liking the potential dark horse of something going awry for his team.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. We got 2 more here to get out real quick. So Nico, Jalen Waddle a second. Malik Nabers is back on the trade block. Mike, let's talk about Nico. I think that's we'll get to Waddle too, but Nico right now, he's of the guys that were, I think highly regarded in the offseason and people were potentially trading up for and feeling like you got to have one of these receivers. He's the one that I don't want to say I'm like worried or super panicked. He feels like he's different than the rest of the guys that are kind of more consistently eating. And where are you at with Nico right now?
If he hadn't had the game a couple weeks ago where he ended up wide receiver 6 on the week, well over 20 points, double-digit targets, it was a very scary stretch. Last week, I know it wasn't what everyone wanted. I think he was like wide receiver 29, like he was a wide receiver 3. But you also have to remember they're playing the Tennessee Titans, who that game was just every game the fucking Titans play just is going to turn into this clusterfuck where we don't have to do shit.
Yeah, they're inept.
You're not going to do enough to even threaten us. So listen, we're going to be vanilla as fuck. Why show anybody anything else? We're just going to, run the ball with Woody Marks and we don't want to.
We don't want to do anything crazy and risk CJ Stroud getting hit too.
I think there is a level of panic though. Like the difference between like a Brian Thomas Jr. of the last trade and Nico Collins, there's no first round draft capital with Nico Collins. And while he did ascend to that level, I think there is a not a greater, but there's a more likely outcome if Nico Collins continues to struggle for the entirety of the year. You want to talk about falling into tier 3 wide receivers, that could be it. So I've had a lot of people ask me, like, would you trade a Nabers straight up for Nico Collins? And that was kind of like my Mendoza line where I drew the line where I was like, I don't think I'm doing that shit straight up.
Yeah.
Drake London, Roma Dunze, fuck yes. Like straight up,
Sure.
I will come off as a contender on my Malik Nabers for one of those guys. Nico Collins would be tough. The thing that makes this deal for me, there's a lot of like Kendre Miller truthers that were super fucking excited to see this dude score a touchdown last week. And like, they're like, he's having a mini breakout. He also only played like 20% of the snaps and just so happened to have a rushing touchdown. You know what I mean? And he looked good on it. But is that something you can bank on for the future? I don't really want to make that bet. We just watched Tua lose Tyreek Hill. And now this passing game is literally just Darren Waller and Jalen Waddle. And while Jalen Waddle's disappointing, if Jalen Waddle was ever going to rebound, the time is fucking now.
Well, yeah,
so listen, I would trade fucking Kendre Miller for Jalen Waddle in a heartbeat universally across the board.
Yeah, I mean that part. I mean is not even fucking the second on the side. Honestly, to me,
it's just extra fluff, man. Thank you.
I mean, listen, it's a 26-second, early, late, mid. It's. I'll take it. I would say it's not like a super consequential piece, but I'm elated to take it. I'll say here's the thing, right? Nico at the moment, if you just think about it from a standpoint of, what realistically is there if you're going to go to players, if you're pivoting to a player right now, dude, I mean, he's still a top 12 receiver. It might not be the most exciting. He may kind of getting a little bit of the allure that was people were really bullish, man, putting him and Puka basically neck and neck, right? So he's a top 12 receiver though. So if you're going to make a pivot into a top 12 receiver and get a big boost from Kendre to Waddle, and you get thrown a second, I think it's the play is now, okay, hey, listen, we're going to hope better days are ahead for the offense, for Nico, and I think he kind of keeps you, hopefully, in the conversation with points and production, but also maybe at one point, if you do have an opportunity to pivot, if he's having, better weeks at some point. Because the one thing about Nico, right, people don't want to talk about this. I get it. I know it's. Look at A.J. Brown. Listen, Nico going into next year, 27.5, right? He's going to be the Brandon Ayuk age. He's going to be while we have been talking about we want to see Nico go take this huge leap forward, we've definitely seen it. We know it's not a projection, but listen, the youth allure doesn't last long, and he's going to be basically hinged to his production here very shortly as far as his dynasty value as a whole. So it's worth a pivot here for sure. I think my play would be, listen, I got a gift with Waddle in this second here, and I'm still in the top 12 receiver range. Hope for better days ahead with Nico, and I think probably if I can, when the opportunity arises, maybe I can pivot into something younger. But I'm not really even that worried about it if I have to, man. Keep it,
So we can keep it moving. I'll give you one more point. Action XJ doesn't have his first. You know what I mean? So he's locked into competing, even though he's in the mid right now.
Oh, this is a gift then. This is a gift.
Like as much as I want to keep Malik Nabers, I got to do something since I don't have my first. I don't want to give somebody an early first just because I lost Malik Nabers. I have to make these kind of pivots. So I like the double down effect. Like, fuck, I got to go, man. I got to go now.
Yeah, I think actually, you know what? I will say, because we do want to get out of here. Well, we don't really want to get out of here, but we're talking, we're yapping today. I want to go through and just see his team because it's a great point here. It's this one, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you're 2-2. So you had going into this, right? You had Gibbs, JCM, Caleb. Removed Nico obviously from the mix. You got Pickens, Rashee Rice coming back soon. You didn't have Waddle. You had McBride, Goddard, Hawk, a lot of tight ends. You had Stafford, McCarthy, Wentz. Bench is still. You got Addison. You got Addison though. Addison definitely can be a starter on this team. Let me ask you, Mike. Right? You don't have your first. I get it. You don't have your first. Can't go back and get your first. My question is, not that you do not have your first, and you definitely still want to try to contend, but is there a world where this team still isn't necessarily contending right now?
Yes, there is. There is. There's a realistic chance, but I'm also not gonna. When I put myself in that position, if I can't get my first back at a reasonable price, right, and then rebuild. I did this last year in a couple leagues. I had stupidly leveraged a trade the year before, lost the first. You find yourself in the middle. You want to get that one back. But you will have these managers, and I'm one of them, where I recognize that you want this pick back, and I'm going to make you pay out the ass for it. But if you can't reasonably get it back without selling your soul to the devil to do it.
You also had Tyreek. You had Tyreek and Malik on this team, too.
You only have two choices at that point. And number one, I will never do, which is just roll over and play dead and just let it happen, right?
Well,
just soak in the fact I lost Nabers, I lost Tyreek.
This team wasn't very good to begin with. No,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm not going to just gift you. I'm not just going to gift you, a top 3 pick.
Sure. I don't think.
If I get a realistic deal like this, I'm doing it every single time because I'm like, well, you didn't want to give me my pick back. At the very least, now I'm just on a mission to make this shit like the 109, the 110. Go fuck yourself.
Well, listen, I'm not telling you not to go compete and try to win. I of course, obviously. I guess here's the question really for me, right? And I still think I would do this trade. I think, though, the reason I wanted to walk through this as an exercise is this is close to me, honestly. Like, I could make the case that you could put in Addison right now on this team, right? And you'll have Rashi, Addison, Pickens, Jalen Waddle. Listen, your team's not as good, right? But I just don't know right now for sure if this team took it's definitely better. It's on a weekly basis is better. With bye weeks, you're probably more protected. At the same point, all these players are still, knock on wood, risk of injury. I look at Gibbs is awesome, but your running back 2 is who after JCM? I don't even know if you consider JCM that great, honestly. I like him, but dude, like this team to me isn't necessarily locked into being that much better with the assets here. I would do it. I think it is worth it here, but I'm trying to use this as an example of this is already close. If your team is like going to have a similar build here, I don't think you have to make the pivot. And just because you don't have your first, sometimes there's not much you can do. But I'm with you. I'm not just like rolling over, playing dead. But I'm got to be realistic. Just because I don't have my first doesn't mean I can control everything. So just to think about it from that standpoint before you pivot. These are different assets that I think are well worth making that pivot. Last one here, Endgame Empire, Mike. So you got Nabers, right? You're moving off of him. You go to Jefferson. Listen, just tell me one for one. There were people that never left Jefferson over fucking Nabers. So that's easy. Now the question is Daniel Jones a first and Olave for Barkley and Chase. Listen, I think Barkley, while he hasn't been unlikely that he was going to be what he was last year all year. Chase Brown is kind of getting to a fucking pretty dicey, scary point. Where are you at with this one, though? Danny Dimes is in the mix. I'm not really freaking out about losing him either.
This is one's a little confusing unless like your plan is to trade Daniel Jones like within the next couple weeks. You know what I mean?
It's got to be because you're getting your pick back. It makes me feel like that's got to be right. He's sending his away? No,
he's getting the other pick, right? So he's getting the AJ pick. Daniel Jones.
Oh yeah, I'm saying AJ sending. I misread that. I was thinking AJ got his pick back. AJ sending his pick away here.
Yeah. So AJ, I can clearly tell that's a contending roster,
right.
Which he felt like he had a surplus at quarterback in Daniel Jones. If I put him in the deal,
I was about to be hella
Nabers.
Confused. Yeah, for sure.
Let me get Jefferson. Let me get Barkley off you. Olave is like a wide receiver 2/3, kind of in that range. It's whatever, and I'm going to send my first. I understand it from the contending side, like that one does.
Definitely.
The one that makes it confusing for me is you assume the other side is full-on rebuild. Like, if I'm taking on Daniel Jones and I'm going to take on the Chris Olave, my goal is to move them on value bumps. So with Daniel Jones, that's got to be like right fucking now. Like, that's got to be like...
Yeah.
Can I get 2 seconds out of somebody for him? And then this turns into I sent away Jefferson, Barkley, Chase Brown, but I got Nabers a first in 2 seconds. Okay, I can live with that. That's what I want to do as a rebuilder. It's just the Daniel Jones in there is kind of confusing me, and I hope it isn't one of those cases where this is like I want to have my cake and eat it too. You know what I mean?
It doesn't appear to be. So AJ 006 at the top. Not the Swobes and him are very much at the top as far as points, but 8-0. You look at the team, Goff. He had Goff and Amon-Ra stack. He had Garrett Wilson, Goddard. He had Travis Etienne. He had Nabers, right, going in. He had Daniel Jones. So I honestly, when I'm looking at this, Mike, I think I really like it for AJ. Knowing that I'm 8-0, right? Knowing that I have this points and I'm 8-0, obviously anything's possible to happen. But you have a pretty good head start and a pretty good team. Dude, Rome's on his bench right now somehow. I don't know how the fuck that even – Rome's in his lineup. This is a good team. So, dude, getting off of Nabers and going to Jefferson is a wet dream, honestly. So, and if it's my first here where it projects to be 109 to 112 probably. Now, to your point, right, I think this is where sometimes it's tough, meaning – man, when you get into the basement or the cellar and your team's not that good, it's like sometimes you kind of are in a position where if you want to get a Nabers or you want to try to get some value, a future first, you got to play some 4D chess. I mean, I imagine, I pray anyway, you got Kyler Murray, you've got Daniel Jones here. I don't think you're trying to go contend here, right? You got Penix and you got Bryce Young. I think you're just trying to take the asset and hope you can move it. That's a risky game, but at the same point, Mike, I mean, you're getting a first, you're getting off of points here. Making sure you're trying to get to the bottom. Do you think you sold too light if you're taking Nabers on here in this trade?
You might have. You probably could have milked a little bit more out, right? Like I really hate the Jefferson pivot. Like that is such a fucking bailout. It's such a bailout, man. Like I wish on all my teams that I got Malik Nabers on where I'm trying to compete. Somebody would just let me almost 1-for-1.
I'm with you here, by the way. I just want to say it is funny as actually I said that about Nico. I think Chase and Jefferson have reset and changed the way people view the elite assets of those, right? So Jefferson's going to be 27 next year, but I don't view him quite as getting to the A.J. Brown scaries for a little while. So I'm with you. I wouldn't have probably done that, but I would have, but I think, Mike, it wouldn't be for not straight up at all. Now, if I'm kind of canceling these assets out, right, going back to this trade here. So, Mike, let's say you're going to give me, is the 26 first warranted here to go from Jefferson? A late first here? Is it warranted to say, hey, I need your late first to take Nabers on here?
Yeah.
I'm with you.
On a rebuilder, I would do that. You know what I mean? I will take on your Nabers and your pick, even a late one, and I will give you Justin Jefferson. But that is the cost of acquisition.
I'm with you. Now, the question is, would you take Olave as that piece, the extra here?
No.
I'm with you.
No,
you wouldn't take Daniel Jones, is it, right?
No.
Okay, which is fine because then we're going to just move on, though. Because now the problem for me is this is why I feel like you sold light. I get it, what you're trying to do, and I understand sometimes you're kind of hamstrung, meaning you don't have a lot of maneuverability. You kind of want to make a trade and you're trying to get points off your roster. Mike, there's no world where I'm trading Saquon Barkley away, even on a contender, for either Dimes or for Olave. Even if you told me Chase Brown is worth one of those two, let's just pick your poison. There's no way I'm trading you a Barkley for an Olave, honestly, even.
No.
Just not doing it. So I think I get it. I feel like here, sometimes when I have the player that's healthy, right, and a very elite asset, I kind of want to draw the line in the sand sometimes on my elite assets, right? I'm willing to, kind of make deals and make sure trades continue to happen in volume. Elite assets, though, man, I'm not in the game of just, moving on from them for gross shit like this, man.
I'm not in the, with the government shutdown going on right now, I'm not in the mode of bailing out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, well, Mike, because here's the problem you talked about with Daniel Jones. Like, dude, he is one of the most enigma assets to even think about what he's going to be viewed in the future, what people view him as a whole in your league. If you got stuck with Dimes and he's on the downswing, buddy, that would be a fucking catastrophic. That'd be awful. It'd be awful.
Would be.
I mean, yeah. I don't think I could have done that. It's not like egregious, but I think you could have milked a little more. To your point, like, could I have gotten at least a second out of you? Could I have gotten some other young player on his team? Just real quickly go to the lab just to see if there's anything like Bayshall Tootin. Something else that gives me some upside ability to play with later. That I probably would have pushed for that, frankly, Mike, in that deal.
Yep. Should have got one more like dart upside play that I can also flip. I will say though, if you're just gonna hold on to Daniel Jones, like that's a ticking fucking time bomb. It's a ticking time bomb, right? We love the start, other than last week, obviously.
If you tell me he has one bad week here and there, I'll still love it. But I'll tell you, we're in what have you done for me lately for sure mode here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Speaking of what have you done for me lately, patreon.com/South Harmon. What I've done for you lately, the merch tier is popping. El Gancito, luckily, wasn't aware of the sizes, so he didn't get a pair of shoes. But definitely some dope gear over there to check out. If you want to be on the trade show, check it out. This is where you do. Go to the Completed Trades channel. Blitz will pull the trades sometimes. Sometimes he will get Mike's trade on there. And we got a lot of good things on and popping in the Patreon. Lastly, I will say, Mike, if you want some signed shit, ultimate autographs, check out some box breaks. If you're into, memorabilia, signed memorabilia especially, ask Cameron Myers. Poor kid, it broke his heart. But this is where you want to go get it from. And lastly, if you want some of the fire new jerseys they keep coming out with year in and year out, a lot of the throwbacks too. I got the black Puka today. The 76 Bucks jerseys are crazy. There's a lot of really good stuff over there at Certified Shit. Our partners, Fanatics. Make sure you go check all that out. Aside from that, buddy, we have had a hell of a Yap Fest. This is as exciting as it gets, as far as we don't love all these injuries, but it makes for a lot of interesting dynamics and trades. And we will see you back here, same time, same place, next week for the Dynasty Trade Show. We're out of here. Peace.